All right, we're back live on the XFL's YouTube channel. Alan and Brian from This Is the XFL Show, along with Sam Schwartzing from the XFL Football Operations. Oh man, that was a doozy of a first round, Sam. We were very shocked that he was shocked there was a quarterback taken in the first round of the first phase. I was not. Now we're moving on to the offensive lineman, though, and this is right up your wheelhouse. We talked about this last week. It's harder to scout, for at least for us, just as fans, these offensive linemen. How much research goes into this position in particular from these coaches and general managers?
I think this is trying to scour the earth for the right guys, and that starts with the summer showcase. Justin King, while part of our team, helped organize our summer showcase, and we got in front of over 1,000 players this summer, and a large focus of that was offensive linemen. Finding guys that, for some reason or another, some circumstance, aren't playing in the National Football League right now, but they're able to have unique qualities that these coaches will leverage. We saw some big guys up in Seattle, but some big guys that can move. Might be too short, might be 6 foot tall, but their ability to move with size is valuable in our league. We saw some guys we're going to play up-tempo football. We need to have guys that are able to move and be able to handle that up-tempo pace as well. And then lastly, we have some offenses that cater to the collegiate-type game that are going to be exciting and fast. Mm-hmm. So our offensive linemen might not have as big a learning curve in some teams. Some teams they might have a lot of kills and alerts in other places. But each team's able to identify. And what the summer showcases gave is they'll be able to look at these players, get to talk to these players, get to interact with the players personally all across the country.
Yeah, that's a really interesting thought about the collegiate offenses going into this, or coaches scheming maybe to take away that learning curve, because we saw it when we always reference the AAF when it was around. There was an issue with offensive linemen protecting in that league, and maybe that's either the talent or maybe it's the scheme and it's the thought process in how that league was built. That's why I think this round's going to be pretty important for all these teams.
Well, so one round that you focus basically on a position. We talked about how you broaden the strokes right through all of it. This is offensive line. Like, you have a whole phase dedicated to offensive line because it's that important to the league, and I played offensive line. Alan, you played offensive line in high school as well. So it's definitely something that needed this kind of focus.
Yeah, super important here, this phase. Guards, tackles, centers going all phase long. But then we're gonna move on to defense. Was there like a bidding war for who would go first, defense or offense, at all in the phases?
Well, no. It was we did a lottery, and we let the teams pick. Within the lottery, they got to pick their draft slot. So we made it equal across rounds. So every team's average pick is number 4.5. This way, but the LA Wildcats won the lottery, and they chose to go first in offensive line, right? And so that might mean that they're most excited about one specific player they have to have. There's other people that wanted to go last in this round because that way they could get 2 picks in the top 10, right, with 8 and 9. So that was something unique about this the format, because how much do you value this part of the draft?
Yeah, that's a lot of the strategy too. I think this is a unique style draft, because I feel like any draft we're used to in any league where it's rookies coming in, there's always strategy. But this is a league building draft, and you're building teams. So you guys had to really be conscientious of the parity and making sure teams are able to create these rosters, but also do it creatively. And I think you set it up in a pretty interesting and smart way too, by how we talked about separating the positions, but position groups, not position by position.
This league is about the fan. And when we did research across the country, talking to fans, getting fans to tell us what they wanted to see in football, they love the strategy and innovation, right? That's what fans love. And so we thought, instead of just making this a pure lottery, let's put some strategy and let's see what our coaches, our thought process on, and when they pick these draft slots. So that's why we love it. This office is people who are probably some of the biggest football fans in the world. We know you guys are. And so this strategy component was huge for our fans as well as our coaches.
Was there any inspiration for this format at all taken from another draft that I can't even ever think of, or any other style of?
So how we look at football is, and this is a lot of go to coaching, is situational and components, right? It's a huge sum of its parts. You're focused on the details. That's what we want to build the draft on, right? We wanted to build the draft on these units and make sure that there's parity among units, and then also the ability to have your openness when we get to the open phase. This is more where you're willing to take risks and willing to do something unique that fills your draft pool. You'll see a lot of teams trying to get, their 2 tight ends, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers. Okay, this is some of our basics. Mm-hmm. But then you'll have other teams in the open draft. They may just be, we need to see every tight end. We'll take every tight end. And we know that we did well here in the front seven. So it's something different, and it's just be able to make all these different components part of it, know that every team has the right guys going in, and then ultimately open it up for creativity.
Yeah, the last phase is going to be super interesting. There are no restrictions in that, though. Teams don't have to take special teams players first in that phase, correct?
No, you do not. Yeah. It is open to everyone else. We did not want to lump in the special teams players. Some long snappers have dual functionality with linebackers. It's up to you whether you take a linebacker. We will have the players listed from a league level, what their position is, and then what you do with them is up to you.
See, I'm with the kicker in the first round, in the last round, because how many games are decided by 3 or less points in football? So that's something you gotta like. To me, I'm taking a kicker.
Well, we'll see what happens in phase 5, Brian. I don't know about that. I already hit on my quarterback prediction. We talked about the rule book. It's good these coaches all know the rules, and we're seeing kind of their rosters already come together. And with all these wide receivers that were taken, I imagine that in a couple phases or a few phases, we're going to see a lot of DBs. Do you feel, Sam, that this is going to be a very heavy wide receiver DB league? Are those going to be the two main positions that we're going to be focusing on as fans? Is that going to be the hard? I feel like DB is going to be the hardest position to play in the XFL.
I don't necessarily agree. I mean, I'm partial to O-line.
Yeah.
I think the O-line is still going to be one of those rough and tough spots. The thing about offensive line is you can be a good 89% of the game and still have a bad game. Mm-hmm. Right? And DB is a similar way. We think that DB is an extremely talent-filled position, and so we think that we're going to have some superstars that come out of there. But we also believe that every position has had its own unique parts of it that are going to make it an exciting part of the league.
Yeah, that's going to be probably a debate that never ends.
Oh, it's a debate that's long as football, right? 150 years of college, what position is the most important? I think it's defensive line, but we'll leave it at that for now.
In the XFL, though, we'll see what happens. It's going to be interesting because these coaches, a lot of them, I feel like, have already showed their hand in the first phase, but we're going to see through the rest of the way. I also wanted to ask you about the ball, Sam, because I saw you at one of the summer showcases playing with one of the – you're messing around with one of the I guess we'll call them prototype balls. Is there an official ball that's settled on that's going to be revealed soon, or
something soon? I think everyone should be excited. I think we've done a lot of great testing on our ball. There will be a lot of information coming out about our ball, about all the amazing summer we had. Seeing where we were week 1 of the showcase to where we were ultimately at our last test with the spring league, it's awesome.
The thoroughness. I mean, we could talk about that for days, what the XFL is doing, right? With the ball, with players, with rules, with everything. There's so many levels of testing. How important was it to get this right with testing, with prototypes, with all that stuff that you guys have been really focusing on to make sure you're not just throwing out an idea and hoping it sticks to the wall?
How'd you keep everything in front of you so much?
Well, one of the things that got me attracted when Oliver first called me was that we were going to be thorough in our testing. That we weren't going to put anything out there and throw it on the wall and just pray, right? There was nothing that went into that. We were going to test. We were going to make sure everything has to work twice before we ever implement it. That's why some of our rules didn't make it in. As we were testing, if it didn't work once, we would try something else. If it didn't work again, it was out. We could not put that in if I haven't seen it or staff hasn't seen it work twice. And so we do that across the board with rules, with personnel, with this draft process. Everything we have to do mocks. We've done multiple mock drafts coming up today. This is not the first rodeo. So if you guys think you've heard confirmed a lot, we've heard confirmed even more.
Did you know that who was it doing the 30? I'm going to pick it. Houston.
No, DC. Was it DC?
We're going to pick it 30 seconds. They're speaking of thorough. They know what.
I think there was some strategy in that though, because they don't want to leave too much time for their next opponent. I think that's what it was.
Yeah, it is.
There's strategy. And that's the part of it. There's strategy everywhere. St. Louis was picking extremely fast.
Yeah.
Right. And there's different parts of how you can approach it. And it's great. We have a full team here, Russ, Brad, Brian, all inputting the information that you'll then ultimately see, which goes then from my computer, which is where the timer takes place, and then ultimately to the live stream, which all the fans get to see.
We'll talk about timer. We're 30 minutes away from phase 2. I'm super excited. O-line's going to be huge for me. I will say this, too. Gamesmanship is over, right? This is all, hey, teams are teams, and they're no more sharing information. I'm sure through the summer showcases, everybody was kind of, as a big unit, but now it's 8 teams, right? We're going to say that.
And it's been exciting to see that transition.
The competition's been on, I guess, now for probably a month, maybe a little bit longer since those summer showcases ended. the coaches turned on each other.
Absolutely. You know, coaches are some of the most interesting people in the world, and they're competitive, and they have their strategies and how they approach everything with the league. I will say what's awesome is all of our coaches love this league, and they're passionate about this league, and they care about the success of this league. So they keep us in check. You know, they are able to identify things that we need to do better at, and we're able to work with them to make sure that this is the best possible league it can be.
What a great time to be a football fan. I'm telling you, we're going through something that once in a lifetime, 150 years of football, and this is probably the first time this has ever happened. Like, this 2 years worth of build-up, the preseason that we're never going to get again.
And we are fans sitting in the XFL's headquarters right now.
What about our turf field?
I like
it. Turf field.
Yeah.
I'm going to see if I can get the wife to change the bedroom. Let's see if that can happen.
Yeah, I forgot my cleats. I should have brought them for today. What's next for you, Sam? After the draft, what's the next big task?
We go into personnel. We're still looking to find the competitive players. Again, publishing the rule book is going to be a huge part of us, and then ultimately getting the mini camp. And really being able to have the players on the field, having the players touch and feel these rules and their coaching staffs and what their markets are going to be. It's awesome. You know, again, I've been here since July of last year, and to see us going from 4 people at the time I joined to now ultimately this huge company, having players here, we're first staff. It's impressive and testament to the leadership we have here with Jeffrey Pollock, Oliver Luck, and with Vince as well.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, we started, like we said, covering the league. Got goosebumps.
Goosebumps. We're in the presence of a league that's being created. This is amazing. As fans,
do you feel like you're going to have a baby next year? Do you feel like you're witnessing a birth?
Pretty much. It's getting me prepared for February. It's been the biggest weekend of my life, February.
Preparation right now. Oh, Sam, man, you got 27 minutes. You need to get ready for the next phase.
I got chicken, brown rice, and broccoli calling my name.
All right, you go get it, man.
Right now, I could be in the player pool. I'm 261 this morning. Oh, man.